Good day guys, coming here. Welcome back to part 2 of 3 of the video featuring the second heroine that's being released for the month of November to December 2024, and it's none other than definitely one of the more, or if not the most controversy heroine name released thus far, because as mentioned on previous video, her name is none other than Hibiscus, which is a name of flower. However, in the translated Japanese or the Chinese version of the name, it has no relationship to the word hibiscus, because hibiscus in Chinese is translated as furong. However, a Chinese or Japanese version of a name is known as 断羽鸟, which means broken wings bird. Yep. Danzibasa tori. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna go that way, but yep. Apparently, this character has a very controversial name for both the English counterpart to the translated, the original counterpart of the name. Yep. It kind of, yep, the translated of the Japanese version sounds like Dan Tsubasa Tori. It means cutting wings bird or broken wings birds, which don't really make any sense. And of course, the usual stuff. Part 1 of the video will be going through the voice actress for the characters, some background story of the characters, followed by the voice pack, and on part 2 we'll be going through on the talent faction exclusive skills and 3C, and last but not least we will end with the pros and cons and item build suggestion for the characters. And before we begin, a great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser M mobile app. So you, and are you guys ready? Here we go. So alright, Hibiscus, and what you're looking right now is the original art release for the characters. Very beautiful, alluring biskin lady, wink lady, bird lady. Okay. As much as I like the character design, I gotta say the one that kind of put me off is the toe, the freaking long toenail. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for any one of you fans out there who like to do some foot play, foot play with the person you like best, I gotta say, I don't know what the hell will happen to you if she try to, intend to do some foot play or step on your Boku no Pico by accident. It will really be shredded pickles by then. Okay, but nonetheless, great artwork of these characters. I gotta say that I'll be picking Rondell over her. And of course, Hibiscus is voiced by none other than Miss Kana Ichinose, and one of the earlier work that makes her she get her first main role is back in 2018 as the female leading characters Ichigo from the anime Darling in the Franxx. And of the recent works is none other than ta-da! On the left, featuring Kido Senshi Gundam, the Witch of Mercury, the female leading character, and on the right, Sozo no Frieden Freeran. I'm not sure did I pronounce it correct, but yep. Fin, sorry, Fin. Yeah, because in the Chinese wording is pronounced as Feilun, so I thought it's going to be as Freeran, but it's more pronounced towards Fin, F-E-R-N. So Miss Kana Ichinose has been getting famous by the years. I presume that she is getting a lot of famous or infamous main leading roles of trending animes. So right, back to the Langrisser. So background story of Hibiscus. So despite she is traveling together with or she is being released together with Rondell and should be grouped with characters like Sheena. However, originally she does not belong to the elf factions. Instead, she belongs to another tribe, another race and group of the Echo of Toiwo world, the Beastkin faction, whom she used to be a messenger from the kingdom of Ascaria, the kingdom of beastmen. However, ever since getting caught into that war, which they didn't mention exactly, so definitely gonna be the second war of Toy War at the time, and it has been described. I presume it has been described metaphorically that it was from that moment that the flocks of words has their wing broken. They have fall into the pitch black dark cage. However, the birds that belongs to the sky will not sink forever. As the war on the surface has spread to the bottom of the sea, that is when she will regain her freedom. Okay, so slightly a little bit of corrections. However, as the birds belongs to the skies, they will not sink forever. As the dispute above the surface of the sea reach to the bottom of the oceans, that is when she will regain her freedom. That is when she regain her freedom. So it has not fully mentioned what really happened. However, I presume she does not have her wing broken. She is able to fly. The reason is that ever since she was caught up in a certain war eons ago, she has been trapped as a prisoner of war, I presume, under Ashen, and has been trapped at one of the tower at the bottom of the sea, same as Rondell. And since the start of Echo of Toy War Chapter 2, with the successful infiltrations from the Empire and the betrayal issue caused by suffering, those who were once trapped as prisoners are now getting away scot-free, or they are breaking out from their cells and seeing the day once again. So this is roughly describing what is happening, the current situation at Ashen continent right now, or the kingdom of Ashen. So okay, relationships with the characters. So with Emperor Sheena, so originally she has been one of the bird tribe known as the broken wings birds that have been living in flocks in Escalia. She has been sent as a messenger on the previous era to visit Asian. However, she was caught by accident into the civil war by the elves themselves. And afterwards, when the next time that she wakes up again, she already found herself awakened in the eternal dream formed by the Empress Sheena. So she's not a direct subordinate or ally of the younger sister of Enya, Sheena. So apparently she was innocent. She was caught by this internal war, civil war, when she visited their country as a messenger. Let's just put it this way: she went to the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's just when she wake up, she was waking up beside Sheena, or in the domain of Sheena. So I presume she has no choice but to work with them. And apparently the prison they have been talking about here seems like of a spiritual prison. They don't trap them physically, if I'm not wrong. However, not much detail is being leaked from the info given. So her relationship with Rondell is living in the endless cycle of the spiritual cage has been diminishing Hibiscus' will, just as her spirit is about to sink into eternity. Another awakeners from the dream reach out to her, and that's none other than Rondell. In their never giving up inconsistency of trial, Hibiscus finally find a way to communicate with the outside world, and this given or resparks the hope of fire of Rondell to try to get out of the prison that they are being trapped in. So yeah, they're kind of like prisoners of wars being caught in this civil war, and I guess the most innocent is Hibiscus. Okay, this is a little backstory of the character. Sorry that I did not present that well, but well, thanks for watching. And this is the chibi artwork done by Marcel to Liana, Grande Curry for Hibiscus. So nonetheless, I guess the tribe, the bird tribe, the birdsman tribe that she belongs to is known as broken wings or cutting wings bird. Then individually her name is known as Hibiscus. So right, before we end part 1 and going to part 2, this is a voice pack of her presentations of herself when you summon her. Here we go.
私は貪欲の鳥。これからあんたを傷つけることがあるかもしれないけど、それが私だから、許して。
So again, based on the translated version and the way she speaks, there are some difference. So let me hear again.
私は貪欲の鳥。これからあんたを傷つけることがあるかもしれないけど、それが私だから、許して。
apparently she did say something different. Dan Yoku. Let me see if I can check there is any other meaning. Okay, sorry for a long wait. Apparently I tried to did a little bit of Google Translate. I'm not sure is it incorrect translations. Apparently, her name is supposed to mean the bird of peace instead of the broken wings, but based on Romaji Danyoku Notori, that's what I heard. It means birds of peace, apparently based on what I type on Google Translate, but I'm not sure if it's correct or wrong. So let's listen to it again.
私は弾翼の鳥。これからあんたを傷つけることがあるかもしれないけど、それが私だから、許して。
Okay, apparently the Japanese version of the word that she's saying is Hi, my name is Danyoku Notori, I guess Hibiscus. And the following actions that I did is going to hurt you or make you hurt. But do believe me, that is not my intention. So it's a bit confusing. Then in the Chinese version, she is saying, "Hi, my name is the broken winged birds or cutting winged birds." From the following action or communication from me will make you sick. However, trust me, that is not my intention. So it's kind of like making you, my following action is going to make you depressed. Sorry, make you depressed instead of hurting you. But the Japanese version she's saying is she will be hurting you. But that's not intention, which is very weird. So okay, let's listen to it one last time before you go to part 2.
私は弾翼の鳥。これからあんたを傷つけることがあるかもしれないけど、それが私だから、許して。
Okay, upon further hearing, okay, pardon me for my limitations on Japanese understanding. Apparently she's saying, my name is Danyoku Notori. Then, from now onwards, the actions that I'm doing is going to hurt you. But believe me, that is who I am. I think it sounds more like that is who I am instead of that is not my intentions.
私は弾翼の鳥。これからあんたを傷つけることがあるかもしれないけど、それが私だから、許して。
Yeah, apparently she said, それが私だから because that is who I am, please forgive me. So she's already apologizing to you because that is who she is. She will be some being who's gonna hurt you. So she apologized for the following actions. That is based on what I can understand. So any one of you professional Japanese listeners out there, if you can do a better translations of what she's saying, do write down in comment sections below. That'll be a great help. Thank you guys. And now we'll be going to part 2 featuring the characters, talents, skills, factions, and 3Z. Here we go. So alright, thank you guys for your patience and sorry about some of the hiccups during part 1, which took longer than usual. Okay, we are now back on track, and sorry about some of the misheard or translations from the character itself. So yep, for Hibiscus, we'll be now going through on her faction skill, exclusive skills, and 3C. And of course, watch to the end for the translated version of the text I've done for you guys. And before we start going through, if you guys wondering if she's going to be a top tier characters in PvP, the answer released thus far is no, because she is not a very stable character compared to Rundle. Definitely both PvE and PvP characters, however definitely not a tier 1 characters. However, as the game progresses, who knows, and also with a release of exclusive items, things might change for the better. So additional info here. So it's written about Hibiscus is the bird that used to live in flocks of sorrows has fallen, had once again grown full of wings and full of feathers. Hidden their true name, unidentified identity, looking through the skies from the bottom of the oceans, a new storm arises, bringing not just freedom but also war. Okay, I don't know what the hell it means, but yeah, some metaphorically descriptions about the characters, but yep. Okay, Hibiscus affection are the following three: mythical, meteor, and darkness. Okay, great news is that she can take factions from Isodad, then Meteor faction. Right now we do not have Meteor 3C faction, so the only ones that she can take is from Zaradas and Epsilon. The same goes for darkness. So this two, the 3C faction has not been released yet, so currently the best that she can go for is mythical faction from Isodad. So her talent is roughly translated as soul vision, because well, she can pierce right through your soul. I presume that's her ability. Okay, the effect are as follow. Number 1, increase attack and crit rate by 25%. Number 2, when you enter, target an enemy in the straight line direction which is closest to you and apply the debuff Gaze. Gaze has the following debuff effect. First, after using skill gain, they will gain debuff effect, skill damage reduced by 30%. Second, you'll gain the debuff see-through. Attacks from Hibiscus cannot be guarded. Do know that gaze and see-through cannot be immune nor dispelled. Effect will either be removed upon trigger or they will last for 2 turns. Sorry. So okay, her effect is very short, simple, and sweet. So number 1, you increase attack and crit rate by 25%. There's like an inbuilt offensive or faction buff for her, a greater faction buff. Then the second effect is that when Hibiscus end her turn, if you are looking on your right directions, or enter at the right directions, the right directions enemy in a straight line which is closest to you, they will gain this debuff known as Gaze. So once the enemy had the debuff gaze, if the enemy use skills, they will obtain the debuff effect skill damage reduction by 30% at rank 6. Then afterwards they will gain another debuff known as see-through. Okay, see-through or pierce-through. Then this debuff is that any attacks received from Hibiscus cannot be guarded. However, and in these two debuffs, gaze and see-through cannot be dispelled, nor immune, and the effect will either last for 2 turns or will be removed upon trigger. So it's very simple, short, sweet, and easy to understand. That's how it works. I guess the downside is that unlike Rundle, this effect can only target one enemy at a time, and it's not an enemy of your choice, but an enemy that is closest to you in a straight line direction. And this is why, just from talent alone, she is not as strong as Rundle. However, that doesn't mean she's weak. Okay, coming to exclusive skill 1. Okay, Storm Feather Blade is roughly transferred as Storm Feather Blade, or if you want to go with the Japanese version, Arashi Tsubasa To, or Arashi Tsubasa Katana. So yeah, it's a 2C skill as a CD of 2. The range is 2 blocks. The AoE type is single target. So the effects are as follow. Number 1, attack and deal 1.5 times damage to target enemy. Number 2, before going to battle, apply the following debuff effect to the target enemy for 2 turns. First, receiving crit chance increased by 25%. Second, receiving crit damage increased by 25%. So that's the effect, and all the debuff effect is applied before battle, so it's a very decent and straightforward skills, meaning this skills effect is trying to give you a high Q rate, 1.5 times damage. Then before going to battle, the enemy will receive crit chance and crit damage by 25%. I'm not sure, can I say that it increased the whole thing by around 50%. I mean, chances of receiving crit and the damage received another by 25%. So if it's not, I'll say this, the damage of the skill is gonna be around 1.5 times a 25%. Let's see how big it's going to be. So it's going to increase, if I'm not wrong, it's going to increase like your damage to 1.87 times, 1.9 times, around there. So again, I may be wrong, but this is just a rough gauge about what the damage she can do. Okay, moving to exclusive skill 2. Eye of the Wind Spirit is a 1C skill, has a CD of 2 turns. The range is 7 blocks. The AoE type is physical straight line. It has both passive and active ability. we'll be going through on the passive ability first. Number 1, at the start of a turn, let 2 random allies who stand 1 block beside you gain the following effect for 1 turn. First, when the ally end turn and there are enemies with gaze effect 2 blocks around them, you will cause the enemy to gain see-through debuff effect for 2 turns, which cannot be immune nor dispel. And that's it. So this is for the passive ability. So basically, this passive effect relies on your ally to charge into the enemy row and to further speed up the debuff or change from the first debuff effect to gain to the second debuff effect at the cost of an ally. This, in my opinion, looks or sounds a bit not so good or not so right, and the setup is a bit tough because it is not a greater range passive skills. For this effects to trigger, first it's at the start of a turn you need to have 2 allies at least standing 1 block beside you already. Then they will gain this buff effect that when they got near enemies who are they got within the 2 blocks range to enemies around them with who originally had the gaze debuff, then you'll cause the enemy to gain see-through debuff effects for 2 turns. So I would say it's kind of bad in my opinion. Okay, active. So the effect as follow. Number 1, attack and deal 0.2 times AoE damage to enemies in a straight line. Number 2, damaged enemies will gain gaze debuff. Number 3, after battle, Hibiscus will be able to move 3 blocks again. Number 4, when you are standing on defensive terrain or on water terrain, increase this skill range by +2. Okay, as much as I have no quibble against this character, I gotta say exclusive skill 2 don't seems very attractive. First off is the passive that need quite some heavy setup or teaming with your allies, and the whole thing is it just centers around Hibiscus. Your allies doesn't gain any benefit themselves overall for the passive sections. Then for the active skill, 0.2 times AoE damage as of this meta is very low. Okay, the only great thing is after causing this AoE damage you can move 3 blocks again because it's a 7 block skills, so you can hit very far away and move back 3 blocks. That is like 10 blocks away from enemy. Unless it's a mage unit, there's high chance that almost none of them will be able to get close to you, even for the most PvE boss, which only hits around 5 blocks. Then the only great thing that I hear from this is if you're already standing on the defensive terrain or on water terrain area, instead of 7 blocks, this skill range will gain a +2. It becomes 9 blocks, so you can hit enemies as far as 9 blocks away, and then you can choose to retreat 3 blocks, which again kind of bit the purpose because just my context, If you can already hit an enemy from 9 blocks away, I don't think you need to retreat another 3 blocks. There's almost 80 to 90% chance that none of them will be able to retaliate or come close enough to you. So okay, that's it, and now we are coming to the last part for part 2, which is talking about the 3C ability. So it has both passive and active effect. Okay, the name of the 3C skill is roughly translated as Soul Hunt Q or Soul Hunting Q. Okay, it has a 3C cost, has a CD of 3 turns, the range is 4 blocks. The AoE type is physical single target. So passive effect are as follows. Number 1, for every enemy on the field with the debuff see-through, increase the following for Hibiscus. First, gain mobility +2. Second, gain range +1. Third, this effect can stack to a maximum of 2 times. So okay, this is definitely a very great part. The passive skills that for enemy with see-through, she'll gain the following +2 mobility for each charge. So however, there's a stack limit, which is 2 times, so the maximum she'll gain is +4 mobility and +2 range. However, you guys got to read properly or hear what I said again is enemy with the debuff see-through. So the fastest and quickest that you can gain this effect is not the first turn, but from the second turn onward, because after the first turn, any enemy that stands closest to you in a straight line, they'll gain the debuff gaze, and then after the enemy with the gaze debuff casts a skill, any skill that they use, then they will gain see-through, and which is afterward, then you will gain a +2 mobility and +1 range. So you need to target 2% to gain 2 stacks. This means that the fastest or quickest ways for you to achieve that is if you act again Hibiscus in turn 1, and provided before the start of second turn 2 of the enemies already cast skills. If they do not cast skill, you will not trigger or receive this buff. So pros and cons, I'm just saying definitely not a bad effect. However, again, it needs setup. It cannot be execute quickly. It can be quickly, but there's chances that the plan might backfire. If the enemy know what you need or what you're gonna do, they might not be using skills, and in return they might not let you gain this debuff. However, having that said, as my thought process kicks in, I gotta say the only one, the best person to work with right now with her is definitely Papa Vargas, LLR Dragon Slayer Papa Vargas, because upon receiving the buff from Hibiscus, Vargas will just cast his 3C and go charge in to the enemy base next turn, and then give them all the debuff that you need for all these things to kick in, then followed by follow up from Hibiscus. So this is the only thing that I can think of right now. Other than that, the rest of the party may not work that well with her. And of course, this the passive, and now we'll be talking about active. Okay, the effect as follows. Number 1, attack a target enemy in a straight line and deal 1.6 times damage. Number 2, when you successfully kill the target enemy, decrease the CD of the skills by 2 turns. Number 3, ranged soldiers you bring will attack together. Number 4, after the attack, you can move again based on the remaining mobility you had not used this turn. Number 5, if target enemy has gaze or see-through debuff, increase your whole unit attack by 30% for this battle. Number 6, which is for PvP only, if the target enemy has gaze or see-through debuff on them, they cannot trigger revive effect for this battle. So okay, overall not too shabby, but there's definitely some cons straight up just from what I see. So okay, let's go through. Okay, so 1.6 times damage, not too bad. However, these skills can only attack enemy in a straight line direction, so you can go diagonally. Then if you successfully kill the enemy, you decrease the skills by 2 turns. The CD of this skill is 3 turns, so you gotta wait for another 1 more turn before you can spam again. Then ranged soldiers will attack together no matter how far. Then number 4 is after the attack, you can move again based on the remaining mobility you had not used this turn. In most situations, I guess it's going to be more cons than pros, because most situations your characters will, it's high chance that your characters will be moving up or advancing upward towards the enemy, and you'll be left with little to almost no remaining mobility left. So I would prefer that the skill effect will be after the attack you can move 3 to 4 blocks again. So that seems better in my opinion. Number 5, definitely the greatest part is if the target has either gaze or see-through debuff, increase the whole unit, meaning including your soldiers too, the attack by 30% for this battle. So that's a very great stack together with the talent that is 55% attack increment. That's pretty cool. Then PvP effect is it will kill off any enemies with revive effect. Very great counters against characters like any characters with revive effect, and definitely a great counters against characters like the recent release LLR Papa Vargas because of his free revival. So one of the way to confidently kill off Papa Vargas is send a barrage of your allies to try to kill him first and let him be revived with lesser HP, because each time he resurrects, he'll be down with 15% lesser maximum HP. So when he's like down with 50% or less, I believe if you send Hibiscus to attack and try to kill him, there's a high chance that he'll definitely be dead. However, that is just my opinion. So what did you guys think? And with that said, we have come to the end for part 2 of Hibiscus. We'll now be proceeding to part 3, talking about the pros and cons of the characters. But overall, I can see that there is more cons than pros about Hibiscus, because her range increment, mobility increment, it's not generic. There are conditions to be met with, so she's not as versatile as her counterpart Rondell that is being released for this banner. So alright, we'll now be going to part 3. Thank you. So alright, we're now at part 3, the last part. Before we carry on, a very great thanks for information shared and provided by the Langrisser Data Bank 蒙汉网站资料库 and on this part we'll be going through more detail about her talent effects, whether they are buff or debuff, and other pros and cons about the skills, and we'll end with the item builds for the characters. Here we go. Okay, we'll be talking about the bond first. So okay, unlike Rondell, she is harder to unlock. For her defense bond, she will need Rondell to unlock her defense bond. Then for the offensive bond, she will need the Empire's assassin Seraphina's assist to clear the last bond to unlock the offensive bond. So she need two characters. One is Rondell and one is Seraphina's. So overall, I gotta say, Rondell's is easier to unlock and better to use. Then the following are the casting items that she need for level 1 to level 10. So she consists of two classes, Archer and Assassin. So it seems that for better overall stats, Assassin class seems to be better. However, if you want to work well, especially against magic, the Archer class is the better option. So okay, we'll be talking about the hard bond effect, level 4 and level 7. So talking about the Archer class first. For Archer class at level 4, the bond effect is when battling with enemy units whose HP percentage is lower than yours, after going to battle, the damage you receive will be reduced by 10%. Level 7, when battling with unit with debuff effect, increase damage deal by 10%. Okay, the assassin class known as the Night Lord. Okay, for level 4, AoE damage received reduced by 10%. Level 7, when you initiate attack and attacking enemies unit whose HP percentage is lower than yours, after going to battle, increase damage deal by 10%. So one thing I gotta correct with you guys. So again, watch to the end for the translation I've done for you guys. It's definitely gonna be updated by the end of this video. So as regarding her talent, the two effect, gaze and see-through. So early on I talked about both debuff. Apologies. Only one of them is debuff, which is gaze. See-through is just treated as a buff, but not a debuff. So as explained here, after Hibiscus end turn, she will cause gaze on one enemy in a straight line closest to her, whom they target upon after using skills effect. They'll obtain a normal debuff, which is skill damage reduction of 30%. However, see-through is not a debuff. So I'm going to showcase you guys the icon. So it's considered a buff effect, but not a debuff. So you guys can notice the second last column, the one with a red eye icon, that is the buff see-through. So it states attack from Hibiscus cannot be got. So apparently it's not treated as a debuff, so that is not a very great thing in my opinion. So Zilong got to do some new icon coloring or changes to better showcase which category of effect is debuff, which category is not. Because I'm a Seraphina's fan, and I'll be sad if a lot of talent or skills effect that at the end of the conclusion is that it is not a debuff effect, and it's not easy to do the combo with Seraphina's. Because she is the first character with quick death effect, so it is pretty cool if we can abuse that or combo with that much more easily. Then for 3C, it just purely explained that it's a global effect. Any enemies on the field with see-through, the number of see-throughs, each one will increase +2 mobility and +1 range, so only stack at 2 max. So the maximum is she'll gain +4 mobility and +2 range, so she will become a 4 block physical attacker at most. And do know that this effect can be stacked with breeze, so this means that this effect icon is not a running icon. It does not override the effect. They can be stacked. Okay, this is regarding the benefits of a 3C skills effect ability. So 1.6 times single target damage skills. Upon killing the enemy, it reduces the skills by 2 turns. Then after attacking, you can move based on your remaining mobility, still the same. Things to note that is, when using these skills to attack, you can base on the enemy that is currently having gaze and see-through and trigger the following effect. If the target has see-through and gaze on this battle, your unit attack will increase by 30%. Then if the enemy's target has see-through, you will cause for PvP wise, you'll cause the survive death blows to not be able to trigger. And the following is Hibiscus trying to seal off the revive effect. They will ignore immunity ability. So the following video I'm going to show you clip is Alia with crystal barrier protections that she gained this immunity against death blow supposedly. However, she's still being sealed off with this 3C effect, and she's still being killed. So here we go. So you guys notice again, you see there is a 4. On the right, the characters is Ilia. So her first buff icon that you see is a green label with 4 written on it. That's the Rose and Seals crystal protections against debuff, and this means that this 3C ability of Hibiscus is not treated as a debuff, but instead is more of a rule that if I can kill you, I can kill your full HP with these skills, you will not be revived even if you can survive the death blow. So I guess definitely this is a skill that gave a lot of points to Hibiscus, because a lot of other characters has abilities that give death blow that will make sure you will not survive. However, they can be negated or guard against with, like gospel and crystal protections for rose and seals, whereas for hibiscus is more like a root that negate your abilities to revive. So definitely a great plus towards this. So alright, overall nothing much about hibiscus, especially she has not been, as of current meta, she is not being heavily treasured or being used as a PvP box characters. I suppose a lot of people don't really see the potential of her yet because she need quite some resources and setup from allies. But nonetheless, having that said, I do see that the 3C ability is fairly good or fairly strong. Hopefully, as the Apex or trend goes on, there'll be more players using her. And with that, we come to the end. This is the suggested item build for the characters and also the enchantment for characters. So from left to right, the enchant suggested will be Breeze, Meteor, and Blazing Sun. So Blazing Sun is for PvE to increase crit rate, and the suggested build and units to be used on the left. So we've come to the end. Thank you guys for watching. What did you guys think? Do you think hibiscus is great, strong, or you can just leave her in the box for art appreciation? Leave it down in the comment sections below. This is coming. See you guys on part 3 of the video featuring SP Terrace. Goodbye.